Yep. We have breaking news. It's the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. I'm tweeting to make sure you are locked into us. Bonus coverage right now. Here we are. Good thing you and I didn't go home, G.
We ain't going nowhere. We was on our way up out of here.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, McNuggets is like, hold on. Don't go nowhere.
Yeah. How about this? G literally, like, right before this news broke, he goes, McNuggets, are we ready to do this show today if there's breaking news? And like 30 seconds later, Mike was looking at his phone and was like, wait a second, is this real?
Yeah.
It is real.
It's like he had inside sources and wasn't telling us. But Josina did tweet. We showed the tweet on the show today.
Yeah.
She said, keep your eyes peeled to the timeline. Not only did she know,
Man.
she knew. There's a difference between knowing and having a hunch and knowing exactly what's coming.
That's right.
It's almost the Twitter equivalent of the Brian Windhorst, Rudy Gobert tweet from
That's
earlier.
right.
But why would they do that meme that went viral? That was Josina virtually doing that for us.
She dunked on a couple people.
She teased it yesterday. The news breaks today. Let's give you all the details here. Again, this is a bonus edition of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. G. Bush, Adam the Bull. The latest we've ever been on the air.
Ever.
150 almost. And here we are giving you bonus coverage because we are the pulse of the city.
It is. We get it right now.
G, your reaction. Here's the trade. Baker Mayfield to the Carolina Panthers for a 2024 conditional fifth-round pick. I don't know if we've seen the details on what the conditions are for the fifth-round pick, but it says a conditional fifth-round pick. So the Browns will be paying $11 million of Baker Mayfield's salary.
Okay.
The Panthers will pay $5 million, and Baker has agreed to forego the rest, at least in guaranteed money. My guess is there'll be some incentives or whatever. So the Panthers will pay him $5 million. The Browns will pay him $11 million. He's a Carolina Panther. They're playing week 1.
Wow.
How about this? What do you think?
That's the biggest takeaway I have.
$8 million off the cap.
I mean, they take $8 million off the cap. Yes, that's fine. Baker has to take a little back, couple of concessions that we talked about. But here's the thing, man. The thing that really hits home to me is that Baker Mayfield is right now, in my opinion, the odds-on favorite to start week 1 against the Cleveland Browns. You look at the timing of this thing, Josina Anderson was all over it. She said, listen, watch out for tomorrow. And we talked about it on Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. We said, look, hey, they want to get him in, give him an opportunity to learn the playbook, an opportunity, the best chance to win that position. And today, they dropped it. 3 weeks left to go before training camp. I'm supposing that he's going to get down there. He's going to meet. He'll probably even stay in that area, stay out in Charlotte, and make sure he has the playbook together. But I tell you what, Boo.
Yeah.
This one right here, this changes a lot of different things for the Cleveland Browns.
I'm excited this for a variety of reasons. First of all, we no longer have to hear Jay and Brad talk about, well, they should just play Baker. They should just play Baker. That's out the window. Yesterday, I was the lone dissenter in saying Baker would get traded before the announcement of Watson. The reality is what you and I have been saying all along, that no matter what happened with Deshaun Watson, the Browns wanted Baker. Baker wanted out, we know,
yes. But
the Browns wanted Baker out as well. They got a fifth-round pick. They got $8 million off the cap. I think at this point, that's the best they could do. I got no problem with that. But the other great part of this is that there's a very good chance that Baker Mayfield will play against the Browns in week 1.
I mean this is a flex opportunity,
oh
right?
My God.
Like, the Browns were playing at 12 o'clock all the games.
Yeah.
But this going into the first week of the NFL schedule, you can't tell me they're not ecstatic about this.
Oh my God.
You get Baker Mayfield. Think about how he's going to react. The snarky comments. Listen, he's going to leave it all out. That game is a must.
Man.
And here's the thing. The Baker bros that was riding with Baker, they are going to be energized today. There's a lot of profile pictures getting changed.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of Carolina Panthers, teal and black going on.
Oh, yeah.
But I'll tell you what, that game that added a special type of feel. Myles Garrett pregame talking about Baker coming to get him. Oh, man, this is it.
Baker can't control himself. Week 1, he's going to talk trash. This game is going to be, as the kids say, lit. Are the kids still saying lit?
They're still saying
yes,
lit.
They still say lit. This game will be lit. And I'm going to ask you guys a couple questions here.
Yeah.
Just now, I'm looking at Twitter. We got everything set up. Do you remember back on one of our first shows when the schedule came out? It was the first Friday we were on air.
Yeah, Jay.
And Jay mentioned his dream and his nightmare scenario. Jay's on his 300-foot yacht right now over at Kelly's Island. He hasn't answered any texts.
Yeah.
Is Jay celebrating, or is he terrified right now at the premise of playing Baker?
Jay is scarred like many Browns fans are. They expect the worst.
Yeah.
So he is very depressed right now.
I think he's excited because
you think so?
For people,
I hope so.
For people in our seats, right?
Oh,
this is a gold mine, man. This is content on top of content.
Oh my
and here's
God.
the thing too: it's not just the content; it's the fact that Baker Mayfield is going to have his revenge. This is Anakin Skywalker coming back, riding around with his new lightsaber, ready to get it in. Listen, him and his whole family, his people, they feel like the Browns left them out for dead. And how sweet of an opportunity is it that Baker Mayfield is going to have an opportunity, not next year, not halfway through the season, but he might have a chance to get to play against Jacoby Brissett, right? And show them, I was the option that you should have picked. You should have came and called me up on the phone, and I could have showed you how to do this thing, and he's going to have an axe to grind. And by the way, go ahead and get ready for that tape to roll. Everybody's going to be talking about when Baker came to the horseshoe and put that flag down in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you what, he might pull something like that again.
This is going to be amazing. Baker, I will remember you. You might remember me. You and Odell both blocked me on Twitter. How did I get blocked by both Odell and Baker?
At the same time,
I'm supposed to be only one or the other. I don't know.
It's crazy.
But this is amazing. I'm so excited Baker's out of town. I've had enough of Baker. It was time for him to go, and let's see what he's got. Good luck. Enjoy the Carolina Panthers and their lousy offensive line, although it might be better this year. Listen, the Panthers have a decent amount of – he goes to a place – it's not a terrible situation. I don't think they're all that good. But he's got Christian McCaffrey. The wide receivers there are okay. It's not it'd be interesting to see what Robbie Anderson's thinking right now.
Wow. This is crazy. You know the thing.
The Browns had to move on. I'm glad they got this done.
They had to do it, Bull.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this. When I'm looking forward to when Vegas comes out with this. When Vegas looks at it and says, "Hey, the Cleveland Browns, we had you favored into this game." I think that the early odds will have the Carolina Panthers. The game is on the road.
Spread right now.
Game is on the road in Carolina. It's right now a 12 o'clock game, 1 o'clock game, excuse me. But here's the thing. If Deshaun Watson is not playing in that game and you are on the road and Baker Mayfield is in a revenge game, he's going to have all the incentive in the world. That is the game of the weekend. Hey, NFL, please do yourself a favor. Flex that on to that 4 o'clock, man.
It has to be. That has to be
that
a
has to be a
national
4 o'clock game.
I want, leading up to this, you know how in fights, like McGregor versus Mayweather, they had the press conferences talking? I hope this gets as dirty, as nasty, as personal as humanly possible. Between Baker and the Browns on both sides, I want it back and forth. I want this to literally be a pay-per-view event. And I don't think if Brissett's the quarterback for the Browns, it's going to be like the greatest football game and the greatest technical matchup we've ever seen. But let's make this personal. And this gives Baker a chance, and we haven't touched on this yet. This gives Baker a chance to literally, in week 1, immediately put Brissett on the back burner and plant his flag as you guys screwed up.
Yeah. But how sweet's it going to be if Brissett beats Baker? Even our backup, because the guy was suspended, beats Baker. The Browns were, as of this morning, a 3.5-point favorite, which is weird to have a line on because we don't know for sure Deshaun Watson's not going to play. If Deshaun Watson did play that game, they'd be a significant favorite even with Baker, I think, on the road.
But here's the thing. And if Deshaun Watson plays, you might as well put it on Monday Night Football.
Is it too late?
Is it too late to switch this up? Because I tell you what, the steam and momentum is for Deshaun Watson getting it lower. We don't know if they can get it all the way down to 0.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. This is sports heaven. gold right here. You get a Deshaun Watson, Baker Mayfield, day one, game one matchup in the NFL.
Yeah.
Man, it has all the storylines. And plus, on top of it, you got to look at this situation. Baker has an opportunity to put Kevin Stefanski on notice, right? Because you got to think about it. If you come back out there and Baker light it up, what are people going to say?
Yeah.
What are people going to say?
Oh, he's free from the Browns.
He's free
now
from the
he's
Browns.
good.
The dumpster fire. Kevin Stefanski screwed him up.
Yeah.
He didn't protect him. Baker Mayfield was injured all last year. This just goes to show you the Cleveland Browns made the mistake here.
You think Myles Garrett's ready to break his foot off on Baker's ass?
Yes. I think that Cold War is coming.
Mikey McNuggets.
I'm on Twitter. I'm scrolling. I'm going through all the NFL guys.
Yeah.
This is from Peter Schrager.
Yes.
He says the Browns will eat about $10.5 million of Mayfield's salary, as we know.
Yeah.
But he also points out, and I quote, this is directly from Peter Schrager of NFL Network, this trade by no means makes Mayfield the week one starter. As someone who's been saying all along Carolina has been the lone destination for Baker, Sam Darnold is still very highly considered in that building.
Get out of here.
I don't believe it for one second.
Isn't that cute that Peter Schrager believes that?
That's
so cute.
My
Bless
question
your heart.
is, you talk about Baker maybe having a little bit of an ego issue here with them bringing in Watson. Is there a chance he can recover if he can't even beat out Sam Darnold?
Oh, my God. That'd be so embarrassing. I bet you Sam Darnold's not even there when the season starts.
This move, I mean, the timing of why they brought him in now is they need to get him ready for week one. There's no way, and you know what, Sam Darnold, he's even going to be considered in running for the backup.
They already ran that last year.
They ran that. They saw what it was. And you got a rookie quarterback. You got a rookie guy who's not going to be ready. Baker is going to be, first of all, he's better than Sam Darnold. Second of all, he gives you the best chance to win against. And why would you start someone and you got the guy who knows everybody? He knows the whole team, the whole everything. He knows everything.
Right. Yeah. No.
All right, and I'm just going to keep throwing stuff at you guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
My next question for you.
Yeah.
Right now, if we could have anyone in the world as a guest on with us to break down this trade, I'll go first. Who would you want as a guest?
Ooh.
My answer, Robbie Anderson.
Oh, that would be good.
Oh, that's.
I don't know that he'd give us a straight answer right now, though. Now that Baker's actually getting going there.
I want Myles Garrett. Come on, Myles Garrett. I think that silent cold war is going. We're gonna find out which defensive players did not like Baker Mayfield.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna figure out real quick. Because
especially if he talks trash that week.
And you know what's gonna happen, bro. Like if this is anything that you needed, Myles Garrett, here's your motivation. Come on out there and give me 4 sacks. Because I'm gonna tell you what, everybody on notice. Listen, everybody is on notice. If y'all let Baker Mayfield come out there and you let him dominate and do what he wants to y'all, do you know what y'all gonna see the next week? They're going to say, well, maybe it wasn't Baker. Maybe it was Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney that couldn't get to the quarterback. This is a great opportunity for you to put your name on the map and get about 4 or 5 sacks this game. But this is one of the most pressureful games I think the Cleveland Browns are going to have in a very long time to open the season.
I mean,
is it possible to call the week 1 game a must-win? I think it's a must-win for Cleveland. I really think it's a must-win game.
Oh, no.
You think it's a must-win for the Browns?
This is a must-win. This is definitely must-win. You got to think about it.
No, this game is much more important for Baker than the Browns, I think.
But look at
unless Deshaun Watson plays.
Look at what they're gonna look like. They're validating every single thing that we said.
But in like I'm pumped and emotional, and it'll be reactionary and overreactionary. But Sam Darnold, if nobody remembers this because he sucked the rest of the season, he played great the first 2 games last year. And then he did nothing the rest of the season. He was horrible. After 2 weeks, people were like, the Jets blew it. And now he sucks and is being replaced by Baker. So the big picture, but in the short term it's going to be the most blown up. I now wish this game was a Thursday night football opener.
It should be.
Oh, my God.
This is like, because you got to think about it.
Yeah.
The 2 biggest stories in the entire offseason were Deshaun Watson, Baker Mayfield.
Yes.
You now get an opportunity where you got Baker Mayfield playing the Browns week 1. Like after he was just on the roster, you know what he went through. And here's the thing too. You're gonna start. I don't know if the Panthers organization is going to put a gag order on him. I don't know if they tell him, listen, we don't do that here in Carolina. I know you outspoken, but all that stuff you're talking about, we can't have that out here. Like, but Baker is going to
He can't help himself. He can't help himself. No, he's going to talk trash, and it is going to, every hit, every time he's sacked, every time he's tackled, we're going to analyze did that guy give him you talk about, we're going to find out who hates him. Was there an elbow? Was there a this? Are they talking trash? Remember when Hugh Jackson went to the Bengals, right? And Baker did all that stuff. And, and we're going to be looking for all those little things. I mean,
shaking hands at the end of the game. Simple stuff that.
Yes.
Is he dapping people up?
Yeah.
Is Myles Garrett going to give him a hug? Is he going to go up and shake Kevin Stefanski's hand? And here's another thing, too.
Yeah.
If the Browns is up, do they just keep blitzing and pouring it on?
Just killing them.
Do they keep
And will the Browns, we always talk about these conspiracy theories with the NFL, like they've got everything figured out. It's kind of weird that Baker gets traded to Carolina and they happen to be playing week 1. Could it mean now they will not suspend Deshaun Watson? Because as big as this game is already, if Deshaun Watson plays, then it's even another level.
That's one of the bigger games. And we talked about it before. I think the NFL wanted to have the Browns out of the spotlight. They wanted them to be out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want them to actually have to deal with the whole allegations and stuff like that. But if you look at it, if you're the NFL, I mean, think about it. And this is another conspiracy theory. If you were going to bring Deshaun Watson back or you weren't going to give him a suspension, him playing against Baker Mayfield almost makes you forget all the rest of the stuff. The no suspension, they can hide that behind Baker Mayfield versus Deshaun Watson in a redemption game for Baker Mayfield, and they don't even really get much backlash in that case.
Nope.
I don't
People be over it.
How would you guys grade this trade, by the way, for the Browns? They get a 2024 4th or 5th round pick. They save $8 million in salary. They're still paying $10.5 for Baker, but for a guy who was not going to play for you this year,
I think they did as well as they could.
As good as they could have got. Also, before you answer that, shout out to everyone out there who's tuning in, because we've broken a new record for most live views right now.
Wow.
Right here. Yep.
Wow.
So shout out us.
They didn't even know we were coming on. We just tweeted about it. And most live views. Wow.
Hey, man, shout out to you guys.
Shout out to all our fans. We love it.
Hey, man, we try to pride ourselves in going the extra mile. I will say this, man. I'm excited. I want to get some interaction from some of these fans because
Bush, can you read some of the comments on your phone? Let's pull it up here.
Yeah, because I'll tell you.
We're working on getting guests as you guys keep doing this. So give me a sec.
Yeah, this is
Animal Rights Garrison tweets, almost like you knew the trade was coming, because I tweeted that you and I had just had happened to stay here,
right?
And he says almost like you knew the trade was coming. Drew tweets, G. Bush and that eye contact with the camera. My guy.
You listen. You see what I'm doing, man.
J. Quill tweets, if he beats the Browns week 1, it would be the most Browns-like thing we ever witnessed. Listen, we got to talk to the Baker Bros. First of all, are the Baker Bros rooting for Baker or the Browns in week 1? The Oklahoma Baker Bros are obviously rooting for the Panthers.
Listen, I'm going to tell you
But what about the Cleveland Baker Bros?
There's a segment of this population that would love nothing more than Baker to come out and throw for 300
and kill the Browns.
There's that faction, and there's a faction of Browns fans who still would say, Baker, hey, throw for 300, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, but the Browns beat you. So guess what? The Browns win, Baker, because a lot of people want to just signify that Baker is not a bad guy, not a bad quarterback. And I really think that if you look at it, a lot of people really want to see Baker do well. Now, for me, I'm a diehard Browns fan. He got to go. Get him up out of here. But something is, listen, something always gets me. Is when you talk about somebody that with an axe to grind that plays over their heads, it's that guy.
I want him to fail in Carolina. I've been consistent with this. I hope he does. I'm not rooting for him to get hurt, but I want him to be bad. I'm not going to lie.
We're just going to read a couple YouTube comments real quick. We have all you guys coming in. They're coming in fast. But this is Reynaldo Ray. Thanks for what you did in Cleveland. Glad this drama is over. Good luck in Carolina, except for week number 1, which I feel like is a lot of the sentiments going around. Justin Crawford says, go watch what Florio said. That's not related to this. Sorry. The chat goes so fast, G. Bush. I don't know how you keep up with this sometimes.
By the way, Axel, my buddy Axel, you know Axel on Twitter?
Yes.
He's a good man, yeah. He says, sincerest condolences to Jay Crawford.
It's got to be so tough being Jay and his 300 football.
Right.
Oh, my God. What a tough life he has.
Jack Coleman in the live chat says, this is a must-win for the Browns. The Browns will win this game. Now, this is I'm looking at it, and I think Kevin Stefanski will be saying to his guys. It's secretly he won't say to y'all, but I'm telling you right now, behind closed doors, they're saying, guys, we got to win this. Because if they don't win this right, and if the Browns look like their offense is not in sync, it looks like there's no innovation, you're in trouble.
Hey, guys, we are on the line right now. We are joined by Nick Carboni. He is the sports director of the Tegna station here in Charlotte. He's on the phone driving, so there's no video of him. But, Nick, Can you hear us? How you doing, Nick?
I'm good, guys. Yeah, the Panthers and Browns executed this trade right in the middle of a 2-hour car chase in Charlotte. So I was not quite on my way to work, but I had to wait for that to end, the trade to go through, and here we go. Giddy up.
Nick, are you excited as a Panther fan to have Baker? Are the fans excited? I mean, or do you not care? Are you neutral? How do you feel? How do the fans feel, you think, right now?
Yeah, just objectively as a reporter, I mean, I think it's a positive step for the team, and that's because of who their quarterback was last year and who it might have been this year, and that's Sam Darnold, who through the first 4 years of his career has shown that he's one of the worst starting quarterbacks in the NFL. A change of scenery didn't help that much last year. The offensive line didn't either, but I put a lot of what happened last year to Sam Darnold on Sam Darnold. Baker Mayfield, in my opinion, presents an upgrade at the position. I think it's clear. Some people don't. I've received texts already from friends and fans of the team and of the NFL, and it's like 50-50. Glad it happened. And then somebody else chimes in. Can't believe, they got Baker now to add to Darnold. So I think for what it sounds like they gave up in terms of compensation, what they got the Browns to pay, it sounds like Baker took a bit of a cut, and conditional 5th-round pick, I believe it is.
Yeah.
I think it was a practical move. I thought it would be hard to not just sell to this fan base, guys, Sam Darnold starting again in 2022, but to the other 52 guys on the roster. I just don't think you could sell a team that has potential the fact that Sam Darnold was going to be their starting quarterback again. Those guys know what they had in their quarterback, and I don't think they were very confident with it. So I don't think it makes them a surefire playoff team, but I think it makes them at least be able to contend. We'll see how Baker is coming off the injury to the non-throwing shoulder. Yeah. But like I said, to sum it up, I think it's an upgrade for the Panthers at the position. We'll see, how long the relationship lasts here. Obviously, it could just be a one and done again for Carolina.
Gee, some teams trash and other teams treasure.
Hey, I will say this, Nick. I think that you won't. One of the things that you'll see with Baker Mayfield is he has an infectious personality. When he gets in the locker room, people swear by him. They'll run through a wall. And he has it's a little bit of a different personality than when Sam Darnold has, which will kind of endear him to some people. I want to ask you this question. For me, I think this is one of the most intriguing matchups starting off the season. When you got a Baker Mayfield who just left the Cleveland Browns, we don't know if Deshaun Watson's going to play, but I think this is on the NFL schedule probably one of the most intriguing games week one. Are you guys viewing it as that type of thing now that you've got Baker Mayfield?
Hey, we don't get many juicy matchups around here. All of our games are at 1 o'clock Eastern, including this one. So to have an opener with Baker Mayfield going against the club that, in his mind jilted him, and hopefully, like I said, providing an upgrade for his new team here in Charlotte, that's as good as we could have asked for when the schedule came out. All I can think of is the Brian Windhorst meme that's not even a week old, and it pertains to Utah Jazz. But what did they know when they came out with the schedule about 2 months ago and had Cleveland visiting Carolina? They continue the NFL. It's just uncanny the way they're able to come up with these matchups that on paper you didn't think would be very good, and now it's got a little sizzle to it.
Nick, obviously there's a lot of sizzle here. I'll tell you what else is sizzling. Maybe Robbie Anderson right now. You talked about a lot of the Panthers players couldn't sell Sam Darnold. Robbie Anderson, he and I share a brain. We're not believers in Baker Mayfield. I know he tried to backtrack on it a little bit. What do you think that situation is going to be like?
So you broke up a little bit. Like I said, I'm driving in a dead zone.
No problem.
With Robbie Anderson and Baker.
Yes,
and
Robbie
Baker
Anderson.
Mayfield,
What's that reaction going to be like from him, you think?
I mean, Robbie tweets a lot of stuff. He tweeted he was considering retiring and then showed up to minicamp a couple days later. And I don't think he understands the consequences of it. Of course, I think something's going to have to be said between those two. But also, Robbie Anderson wasn't really happy with Sam Darnold last year. And I think I think he was justified in that. But, he kind of screamed at him right on the sidelines. So he might be happier with a better quarterback. Who knows? It's just something that I think Baker is obviously going to know about. He's going to be asked about. And we'll see. Robbie Anderson needs to have a bounce-back year. He's fortunate to have that contract he signed before last year because he did not have a very good season. I would think he would be happy with an upgrade at the position that gets him the ball.
Mikey, you got a question?
Yeah, Nick, last one, then we'll let you get back on the road here. We talked about this just before you got on, grading the trade from the Browns' perspective. How would you grade it from the Panthers' perspective, bringing in a guy, former number 1 overall pick, who now maybe you're starting quarterback in a month or two?
I think we lost Nick.
Did we lose Nick? He did say he was driving through a dead zone.
Yeah, all right. Well, in terms of the grade for the trade, I'm going to give him a B. I can't give an A because I think if they had maybe traded him like right at the beginning of the season, maybe they could have not necessarily gotten any more, but maybe gotten out of more money. But considering the circumstances they were in, where there weren't a lot of options to trade him, the fact that they could save $8 million roughly in cap space and did get at least a draft pick, even not a high one, I give him a nice B.
I would give the Carolina Panthers a B+. And the reason I give them a B+ is you look at it, you just listen to the people who's talking right now. Listen to the guys down there with Carolina. He's saying like he's not enamored with Sam Darnold. The fans, the people on the team aren't enamored with him. Now you have a guy who's a number 1 overall pick a few years ago, who's an upgrade at the position, and he just made you relevant in Carolina.
And they could see, give him a year, and you never know. Listen, as hard as you and I have been on Baker, we don't think he's a scrub.
No.
He's a serviceable quarterback. Now, I think we both agree he can't win a Super Bowl with him.
Yes, fact.
But he's certainly better than what they had. They'll be more competitive with him. Go ahead, Mikey.
I just saw a tweet that I have to read to you guys.
Yeah.
This is from @Ian at NFL Film Study. He points out that the Panthers' offensive coordinator is Ben McAdoo, the former Giants coach.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure where he said this, but this is a quote attributed to McAdoo, an article with a quote. McAdoo rated Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, and Mason Rudolph ahead of Mayfield coming out of the draft. Quote, I didn't think Mayfield was a great athlete, McAdoo said. This guy is kind of like a pocket quarterback who is too short with small hands. That's what I worry about. That's his new offensive coordinator in Carolina.
Well, that is factually correct.
Yes, it is.
He's a pocket quarterback who's not a good athlete with small hands and is too short. That is true. But, it's going to lead to some – I mean, he's going to have awkward moments with his OC and awkward moments with Robbie Anderson for Baker there.
Well, I'll tell you, and I'll give credit to a couple of people here, right? We talk about with Brad. Brad talked about it ad nauseum. DeQuell Jackson talked about it. Jay talked about it.
Yeah.
Is the fact that Baker Mayfield needed to mature. One aspect of this deal that I think showed some maturation was I don't think this deal gets done unless he gives that $3 million back.
That's right.
He gave the $3 million back, and guess what it did? It showed him, hey, I'm willing to come back and earn it. Right? I'm sure there'll be some incentives where if he gets the lion's share of the snaps and if he starts a certain amount of games, he can win that back. So he bet on himself. But I think this does not get done unless he gives the $3 million back. And trust me, playing against the Cleveland Browns was another incentive that week 1. That's what he wanted. That his eye was on the prize there.
Two things about that real quick. This is still all pending a physical.
Sure.
That is important to remember, and it's also important to remember that Mayfield did have surgery on that torn labrum in his non-throwing shoulder. So
Yeah,
I would assume it's going to happen and pass, but it does tend to physical. And G. Bush, to your last point there, who was the player who signed within a division because he specifically said, I wanted to play my old team twice a year? I'm drawing a blank on who it was. I'll look it up when you guys answer. But I feel like that is part of a motivating factor for Mayfield to take a bit of a pay cut. I mean, $3 million is not pocket change, but I get a chance to play the Browns.
It's a great point by G, because we have criticized him for his lack of maturity. Even Brad and Jay, especially Jay, who likes Baker more than anybody else here.
Yeah.
Jay has been critical of his maturity, and Jay is clearly our biggest Baker defender here. So I do agree with you. I think Baker was like, okay, I'm going to contribute and hold my ego aside at least to some degree and say, you know what? I'll take that pay cut because I want a chance somewhere else to prove that I can still be a good quarterback. And he did that. Now, you're right. He probably will have some incentives, but he didn't have to do anything. And he wants to play football. So kudos to him, because you're right. I don't think this gets done. It got to the point, it seems, the reason this took a while is because the Browns had a number that they're like, if we're going to pay him, we're not going to pay him more than this and send him somewhere else.
Right.
And the Panthers are like, we got Sam Darnold. We're paying him a ton of money. We're willing to pay $5 million, or maybe at one point it was $4 million, whatever. But they had a certain level. Both teams were like, we're not going. Well, we got $3-4 million left to figure out. And Baker decided, hey, it's worth it to get out of here. And now he has a few weeks to get up to speed before training camp starts.
I think the Browns showed that they're not worried, right? I think this just shows you that the whole Deshaun Watson thing, the Browns were dead set on upgrading that position. And when it came to saying, okay, what do we want to send Baker Mayfield? Send him to Carolina. They never thought twice about it because they felt that their roster is strong enough, and they also felt that they had upgraded it enough at that position and got Deshaun Watson. So, for me, the interesting thing for me is now I think this gives everything. It's for the Cleveland Browns, right? It was so much about Deshaun Watson. Everything we've been focused on has been off the field stuff, right? Well, now this just shows you, it gives you a shot in the arm that says, guess what, fellas? Camp is coming. You're going to have to play at one point in time.
That's right.
And those guys out there that over in Carolina or whoever you're going to play, they don't care if Deshaun Watson is not there. They ready to come in here and kick your tails, and it's time to get to football.
And by the way, G, one other thing, we're going to be talking about, obviously, on the tomorrow show. We're doing this bonus show. We've been on for 20, 30 minutes at this point. We're doing this bonus show. You and I have a ball. We'll be talking about it tomorrow and Friday, obviously. But eventually, we're going to start to have a conversation, which we've had a little, but it's always been sidetracked with the Baker stuff, is if Watson gets suspended for a year, which you and I both think would be wrong, and you and I both don't think it's going to happen. But let's say it does. Let's say he does get suspended for a year. Then we're going to have to get back to the conversation of, do the Browns now go try to trade for Jimmy Garoppolo or somebody else? That's going to be part of the conversation, too, until we know what Deshaun's suspension is.
Yeah, and plus it changes your mind a little bit, right? Like you said, because we both said Baker Mayfield is a better quarterback than Jacoby Brissett.
Right, yeah.
So now do the Browns second guess themselves and say, okay, well, maybe we could go get Jimmy G.
Right.
Because I think, though, Big Nuggets as well, because we want to get to you. I think Jimmy G was waiting on the Baker move.
Yeah.
Now that Baker's moved, he's the number one quarterback on the market in terms of where he can move.
And if I'm Jimmy G, and if, again, we hope it doesn't happen, we don't think it's going to happen, but if Watson did get suspended for the full year, if I'm Jimmy G, I'd be happy to come to Cleveland.
Oh,
you'd be in a great shape. Mikey McNuggets, what do you got?
Yeah, I just want to shout out everyone tuning in and sending us stats right now, because this is from Strong Cleveland Fan. Just worth pointing out that the quarterbacks who have thrown the most interceptions since 2018 in the NFL, Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold.
Yep.
Both in the same quarterback room. Now, can you guess the third one real quick?
Jared Goff.
There you go. You must have saw that too.
No, I did not see that. I just know it.
You just knew it? Hey, there you go. We also, once again, thank you. We did not know this was happening, for the record.
No.
We happen to be sticking around. We just talked about Carmelo Anthony versus Kevin Love.
Right. Well, let's take people inside the huddle here a little bit. Mikey McNuggets is going to be on the panel Friday. Jay is off this week. Anthony, who's one of our assistant producers, is going to be producing the show for the first time. So G and I stuck around to do a little practice run. So with Mikey on the panel and Anthony getting an opportunity to produce. It's a good thing we did because
good.
Otherwise we would have been gone already.
And Steve,
Steve, our director,
he hangs around a little bit.
Yeah.
But Steve was like, he get his book bag and he'd be ready to go. I gotta
good thing Steve's still here.
Right.
We appreciate him sticking around, and Anthony and Brianna and Mike, of course. So we're happy to be with you. Listen, let me give you another tweet here because this is an interesting angle to look at. And by the way, Mikey, this is something else we got to talk about the next couple of days. Gary DJ tweets. Does the freeing up of $8 million pave the way for Cleveland to go after Ndamukong Suh or a veteran wide receiver?
That was my last question for you guys. That money, what do you want to see him do with it?
Yeah, or do you think they wait and see what happens with Watson? I think they got to wait and see. I mean, I think they should try to add a veteran receiver either way. Yeah. But if they want to spend like bigger money, I'd wait to see what happens with Watson before I make a decision. But
those are the two positions that
I mean, Ndamukong Suh, that'd be pretty sweet.
Man, the defensive tackle position, we had Mary Kay on the other day. She said they like Jordan Elliott.
Yeah, that was her breakout candidate.
If they said if the season started today, he'd be one of the defensive tackles.
Yeah.
But I'll take what Mike Polk said. I've been thinking about it for a couple days now. God forbid Amari Cooper pulls a hamstring, tweaks a knee or ankle.
Yep.
You're down to Donovan Peoples-Jones. You're down to Anthony Schwartz. You're down to David Bell. If it's 3rd and 7, you counting on those guys to catch a dig route in a big-time game, I would always feel more comfortable with another receiver and veteran as well.
By the way, I just realized Mary Kay was on with us yesterday, and she said, I'm going to be flying to England tomorrow.
Remember?
And she said, I bet you the Deshaun Watson breaks. Well, it didn't, but Baker. I know my man D. Ryder.
Yeah.
He's on vacation this week.
Damn.
Oh, my God.
This week used to be the week that everyone Jay's off.
Right.
And now
Jay's
you can't
off.
take this week off. It's NBA free agency.
Jay is out to lunch right now because I texted him. He's not.
He has not responded.
No.
So he's either dead.
Jeez,
which I hope not.
Hey, no, he cuts out. See, he does one of those things. He goes off the grid.
Off the grid, yeah.
He takes a backpack, like some peanut butter and some celery sticks and a compass, and go hang out somewhere. I'm like, I can't do that.
I do want to read a tweet from Aditi though, real quick, because she not only tweeted this to all her followers, she tagged us because everyone should be following us on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah.
Aditi Kinkobwala, our favorite, who's on tomorrow's show, says, quote, as I've said over and over on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, made sense for Baker Mayfield to take the pay cut and bet on himself. Reaffirm you're the quarterback you are in 2021, the one who led your team to a playoff win. Reaffirm you're a good teammate. Show them how much you've grown, and then the money will come. And this played out exactly as Aditi said. So anytime I doubt Aditi in the future, just remind me I'm stupid. Aditi's way smarter than me. And I'll take that L time after time after time.
And by the way, Aditi did say that. She's been saying that consistently. And let's talk about this. I said it earlier. I'll tell you what I've been saying. This whole entire season, I have a feeling on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, we will be doing a Baker Watch. We will be doing a Baker Watch at every junction. We
built a stinger. Steve, take it. This was the first thing that we built on the show. Was the Baker Watch, and it is finally today coming into handy. Shout out to Emily in the tank for building that. It didn't get as much use as we thought it would. But
by the way, shout out to my man Anthony Lima for pointing out that Brian Hoyer has a better winning percentage in Cleveland than Baker Mayfield as Baker leaves town. So. I mean, not all of us can be as good as Brian Hoyer there, Baker. Sorry.
Hey, this is, you know what? I'm sorry to say this, but I'm gonna be honest with you because I'm in a moment. I'm just sitting here. This puts a little pressure on you a little bit as the Cleveland Browns. It put a little pressure because you got to think about it. It's not like Baker's gonna be, out of sight, out of mind. Every single game you play, right? They're going to compare and contrast what Baker did at Carolina, what you did. If they play well over in the NFC, and think about it like this. Think about it like this on top of it. Think about the guys he's going to have an opportunity to play against. He's going to get a game against Tom Brady twice. Lord forbid he go out there and outplay Tom Brady in a game. They are going to say he's the next coming. The Browns messed it up. This is why I love the game of football, because it don't matter if I like you or Bull like you or whatever. Every man gets an opportunity to prove himself in between them white lines, and Baker's going to get an opportunity. So now I'm looking in the locker room for the Cleveland Browns and say, hey, Jadeveon Clowney, you might want to get on You came here because Deshaun Watson was here, but he might not be here for 8 games. We need you to get ready to play against Baker Mayfield. We need y'all get y'all together.
The other stars on this team need to carry this team until Deshaun Watson can play. And they need to go out there and kick the living crap out of Baker Mayfield in week 1. I don't want to hear this nonsense. I don't want this to be the Baker show. I want them to tear Baker a new you-know-what. Let's go. I want Baker's numbers at the end of that Browns game to be 3 completions in 27 attempts for -4 yards with 6 sacks.
And I need all those times Baker Mayfield got the ball tipped at the line of scrimmage. Can we get that off? All the times he looked skittish in the pocket.
Yeah.
Can we get that off?
Go.
What about when he was running down the field and just dropped the ball against the Ravens? Can we have that happen?
Is week 1 in Carolina or is it in Cleveland?
Oh, no, it's in Carolina.
Right?
This
I'm
one
pretty
the
sure
road.
it's in Carolina.
Again, remember the Browns were a 3.5-point favorite as of this morning. We'll see if the line changes. That NFL film study guy who tweeted about the Ben McAdoo thing also said this, telling that Baker fetched so little. Carolina isn't a bad fit if the offensive line can play decently. Baker needs to reestablish his reputation this year. Starts with his footwork and decision-making. It's tough to advocate for a player who has gotten worse over time. And really, the tweet of the day from Samuel Candela, who in response to my tweet saying, Baker Mayfield has just been traded, we're going back on the air in the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show in 5 minutes. He said, F you and F the Browns. So that's a good tweet.
Shout out to them.
Shout out, Samuel
That's
Candela.
what the internet is saying.
Hey, we're going to wrap up here in a minute or two, so I want to put 2 final questions to you.
Yes.
First one for both of you guys. When you look back at the Baker experience, the 4 years here, what will be the one memory you guys cherish or hate the most? But what's the one thing about Baker Mayfield you remember the most?
Good question.
I guess
Thank you very much.
I'll go first. I'll tell you what the thing about Baker Mayfield is. When you look at the situation, I think Baker Mayfield will go down, to me, as one of the most – he has a cult following. And, some people say that. But I've never seen a player – I've asked Aditi, I've asked Mary Kay, I've asked every single person that's been – and now I've seen Kozar here, right? I'm 40 years old. People go back to Brian Sipe. When you look at it, it's not even close to me. To me, Baker Mayfield has a level of following that even Bernie Kosar didn't. When Bernie got cut and they moved him, he went over to the Cowboys. There was no people saying that they were Cowboys fans. They still were Browns fans. It was just, hey, we're going to have to keep it moving. They still came after that and rooted for Vinny Testaverde or whatever the case may be. But when you talk about Baker Mayfield, he has a following that I've never seen, not even from somebody like LeBron James. Because when LeBron left, people was in arms. The Baker Bros is alive and well. And the one thing that I will give Baker and would always stick with me is the fact that like it, love it, list it, don't like it, you hate on it, he brings a certain level of energy. The energy to the table it's undeniable, right? Johnny Manziel had that sort of energy, but Johnny's was a little different because he was destructive. Baker Mayfield is gonna go to that locker room and people gonna follow him. And he has an infectious personality. And my thing is, Baker has an opportunity to do some cool stuff this year. I think people get ready to see his face a lot because he's going to start. He's going to do some things. And I cannot be more excited about watching this game.
Bull?
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, listen, as hard as I've been on Baker, he did give the Browns some good moments. That week where they went to the playoffs, the week beating the Steelers, the week leading up to the Chiefs game, that was as fun a time as we've had since I've been living in Cleveland for almost 11 years now. That was the most fun Browns time, I'd say. Yeah. Obviously, the Cavs and the Indians at the time going to the World Series / NBA championship 4 years in a row. But from a Browns perspective, that was an amazing couple of weeks. And Baker played excellent football down the stretch of that season. The final 8-10 games, whatever it was. He played really well. The problem is, and even I, who's been highly critical of Baker, overhyped that second half or even second 2/3 of that season and built him up bigger than he was. And part of that is because the Browns have been so bad at that position that we see mediocrity. Or even if you want to argue that it's a little better than mediocre, that looks so much better because you're comparing it to garbage. And that doesn't mean Baker's garbage. He's not. He's going to probably be in the league for a while. He may start for Carolina. He may play decently. But ultimately, the Browns have gone from a quarterback that I don't think could win them a Super Bowl to a quarterback that I think can win them a Super Bowl. And that's all that matters. Browns fans want to win. I'm not going to be a phony. I've been consistently saying I'm rooting for Baker to do poorly because I'm so annoyed by the Baker Bros that I want to be able to say, just like they want to be able to come back at us and say, you guys were idiots, we should have stuck with Baker. I want to be able to say to them, you guys are idiots, I told you he wasn't any good. Yeah. So it's Penny LeBeau, I admit, but but that's the situation. But Baker did have his moments. He gets some credit for the organization improving for the first time in a long time. I give him some credit for that. And I wish him well physically and emotionally, but poorly on the field.
Now, before we get up out of here, I want to ask you guys a quick question. Game 1, Browns win, or does Baker pull out the
I say the Browns win with Jacoby Brissett in a low-scoring defensive battle, 13-10. Baker has we saw this a lot in Cleveland. Great first drive, and then does nothing the rest of the game. How many times do we see that with Baker?
Gary, listen, I got the Browns winning a very low-scoring game. Yeah, 17-13.
Yeah, we're on the same page, basically.
But I think Baker spreads the ball around a lot in the first half. He plays really well, move up and down the field. I think one costly mistake will cost him, and I got the Browns winning at 17-13. McNuggets, you taking the Browns?
I'm on the phone with Brad. Keep going for 1 sec.
Yeah. So we'll get back to him in a second. But we hope you enjoyed this bonus coverage. I don't know how. I can't even tell how long we've been on.
We're not done. We're getting Brad. Brad's going to hop on VMix.
Okay.
Give us 1 sec.
We've been on, 45 minutes already here?
Easy money.
46 minutes, and we're going strong.
Love it.
Over 7,000 views, 1,800 live. We love you guys.
Beautiful.
Brad, I'm going to send you the link.
By the way, once we do wrap up here in a little bit, make sure you're watching tomorrow because we'll be obviously talking about this. We'll be watching it Friday. G's got the Browns, Locked On Browns. He'll be on that tomorrow.
I'm actually going live.
You're going to go live again?
I'm going to go live again. We got one show that we putting out, but we'll go Locked On. We'll give you, me and Jeff Lloyd will go live with you guys again and talk about it from a couple different angles. But, yeah, keep it locked, man. Make sure you subscribe. If you have not subscribed to the channel, as you see right now, you see what we do. When things break, we pull up, man. That's just what we do. Make sure you like, share, and do it all, man.
And even if G and I weren't here, we would have done this from home because we wanted to be on. If there's breaking news, we're going to be on with you. When Deshaun Watson gets suspended, you and I are doing the same thing.
We will be on when Deshaun Watson gets suspended. We'll be on at the end of Browns games with a little post-game wrap-up live reaction show. We got a lot of things coming. Brad's going to log on to VMix. We'll get Brad in. But I just want to say this.
Yeah.
We were here by accident today, as we mentioned.
Yeah.
We will not let breaking news go uncovered.
That's right.
That's the beauty of not being on TV and being a YouTube-based show is we are not structured to prepaid programming, and nothing against Ellen or Wheel of Fortune, but we can hop on. We ain't taking anyone else off the air. So when news breaks for the Browns, the Cavs, the Guardians, if UCSS isn't the first place you're coming, y'all missing out.
And obviously it is because so many people are locked into this right now. So, again, whenever there's breaking news, we are going to be on with you. Mikey teased the post-game show for the Browns, which we're excited about. We'll tell you more about that in the upcoming weeks.
And just so anyone, we have people, I'm sure, that have never heard of us before with us right now.
Yeah.
We're on every day from 11 to 1 Eastern.
Right.
Yep. We cover anything and everything with the Browns, Guardians, Cavs.
Yeah.
We're daily. Subscribe. Please like us on Twitter and Instagram. Yeah. When we get 10,000 subscribers, we're dumping chili on Anthony's head.
Yes.
He may shave his beard,
too. We're getting close.
We're getting close. I don't know how many subscribers have we got today, Anthony. Look it up. Steve, the director, is doing his thing. I haven't called out a single video. He's doing this by himself, and he doesn't even know sports. That's how much we've grown.
The only man I've ever met in Cleveland that doesn't like sports. But it's true. We talked about his poor softball play before the show. Also, my podcast, I took a day off today only because we were having some technical difficulties with yesterday's podcast, and I didn't want to put it out there if it didn't sound great. And so but I was planning on getting back tomorrow, but I'm telling you what I'm going to do. When I get home, I'm going to troubleshoot, hopefully get it working again. And if I can do that, I'll put out a late afternoon/evening podcast tonight and then put a fresh one out tomorrow. G mentioned he's got his coming. He's going live on YouTube, right, tonight?
Yeah, I'm live on YouTube right when I get back. I ain't changing my clothes. We ain't doing nothing. This is big news, man.
Baker's gone.
This big news. Out. And not only is he out, but he got on real quick.
Yeah.
We talked about the Seattle angle, and I think, I think Baker really literally said, let me take a look at the schedule.
Yeah.
Let me take a look at who I get an opportunity to play. And Tyvus talked about Tom Brady. You think about it. He's in a division where it's Jameis Winston, right? You got Marcus Mariota.
Yeah.
He has an opportunity to say, look,
who's the fourth quarterback there? What team are we forgetting?
Brady.
Oh, Tom Brady. You just
Tom
said it.
Brady, right. So he gets an opportunity to say, hey, I know you guys gave those other guys a little bit of a bump. You signed Marcus Mariota. When I was on the market, you signed Jameis Winston to come back. He gets an opportunity to play both of those guys and to show, hey, you gave them contracts. Let me show you what I could do. And then obviously getting a chance to play against Tom Brady.
And the NFC is weaker overall.
Yes.
So you never know.
Yes.
I still don't think they're a playoff team, but you never know. And it's going to be fascinating to see how that, pans itself out. But he's gone. We getting Brett.
He's got 2 minutes. If he doesn't hop on, then we're just going to have to get him back on Friday with his thoughts. We'll be talking about this plenty tomorrow with Aditi. Leroy's going to join us tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
So we got 2 Browns guests. We got the Quell on Friday. We're going to try getting everyone in our Rolodex who knows the Browns to get in and chime in.
Yeah, what about Tim Couch this week?
Tim Couch is golfing right now. We talked to him. He's at a Memorial Golf tournament.
Okay.
Tim Couch every Monday with us. I got another question about Baker, though. I just keep thinking of this is what producers do. We just think of content, right?
Yeah, you just keep coming with it.
Do you remember that Jets game, his first start?
Yeah.
Or when he came in and won and they snapped the losing streak?
Yep.
After that game, what did you think of Baker and his potential?
I was excited.
I wasn't in Cleveland yet, so I'm curious from a Cleveland
I was
perspective.
excited.
I thought.
Was he the savior at that point?
Listen, I did a blog, right? It was like the first time I had ever on my YouTube channel gotten over 10,000 views. I did a blog, and the cover of my blog literally said, my thumbnail literally said, love at first sight. I mean, when you talk about it from a standpoint, and this can't be diminished. It was Sam Darnold versus Baker Mayfield. Sam Darnold was the starter from Jump Street with the Jets.
Right.
When Tyrod Taylor went down, Baker Mayfield just came in, and I remember and people online will probably remember this in the comment section. Let me know if you guys remember this as well. The throw he made to Jarvis Landry in traffic, it was like a laser right down the seam. Jarvis caught the ball, and it was like, wow, we hadn't seen a play like that. We hadn't seen you talk about Brian Hoyer and his win percentage.
Yeah.
Brian Hoyer had the same type of arm as Colt McCoy. It wasn't no zip on it. It wasn't no type. Baker was out here slinging the ball. And when they did the Philly special and he caught the touchdown pass, I said, oh, man, they got something special. Because people perked up. Perked up. The team played better. There was an energy level. It was a buzz in the stadium. And I just thought that was it. That was going to be what we were going to look for 10, 15 years down the line.
You know what's funny is we talked about Mary Kay being on a plane. The night of that game, I went off the air, I think I got off the air a little early that day for my radio show. I had to get on a plane because it was my niece's bat mitzvah that weekend. Mm-hmm. So I had to fly. I had already booked it before even the schedule came out. And so I had to fly during that game. I was listening to it, and then I couldn't hear it on the plane. And then I get out off the plane, and I'm putting the game on my phone. And I'm like, I was going nuts. I mean, we were all optimistic about Baker, but just too much inconsistency. By the way, my man George Thomas, you know George Thomas?
Yeah.
Akron Beacon Journal? Yeah. He says that, anecdotally speaking, a lot of Kozar Cowboy jerseys were sold.
Yeah, I mean, Bernie.
He's old school, George.
I mean, Bernie is maybe, and I'll say this. Maybe because we're in a social media era, there's a lot more vocalness.
It is.
Back then,
but the obsession with Baker is pretty extreme. There's
yeah.
no doubt about it.
I mean, think about it. He's leading every story.
Yeah.
Like nationally. That doesn't happen for a guy that is not a guy. Is not a dude with some pool.
All right.
I think that's it, guys. We went 55 minutes. Brad's not on yet, so we'll make sure he gets his opinion heard on the Baker trade. When I called him, he didn't know about it, by the way.
Oh,
so
did
he went straight to being a mayor. When he leaves the studio, he goes
directly
to
into
being
mayor
the mayor
mode.
of Warrensville. Tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube, same channel. We will be back. We will talk plenty of Baker Mayfield, Aditi, Leroy, us. We get Tyvis back. We get Mike Polk on.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see his take on this whole Baker situation. Every day, 11 to 1. Subscribe to the podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube show. Like us on Twitter. Like us on Instagram. And if this is the first time you've ever found us or tuned into us, I hope you enjoyed it.
Check out G's podcast with Jeff Lloyd, Locked on Browns. Check out my podcast, The Bullpen with Adam the Bull. Check it all out. We got you covered. We didn't get paid extra to do this. We did it because we wanted to. We are here for you for all the breaking news for this bonus edition of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. We'll see you tomorrow.